I'm Timothy Vigil, and this is Just Another Word podcast, the Word of the Day podcast for storytellers. I is for Incandescent. Her face was sad and lovely, with bright things in it, bright eyes and a bright, passionate mouth. But there was an excitement in her voice that men who had cared for her found difficult to forget. A singing compulsion, a whispered, "Listen," a promise that she had done gay, exciting things just a while ago, and that there were gay, exciting things hovering in the next hour. It was a kind of incandescent glow. F. Scott Fitzgerald, The Great Gatsby. When Fitzgerald described Daisy Buchanan, he didn't call her fiery. He doesn't say she's ablaze. He uses the word incandescent, and he does so specifically. And to understand why he did and why we should think about the word that we're using, we need to look at the physics and the narrative intent behind this word. You see, most words that we have for light in the English language are tied to combustion, to fire. Think of flame, blaze, scorch. All of these words imply a consuming heat, something that eats a fuel source and leaves little to nothing behind. They are consuming, and this is an external reaction. It is violent. It is hungry. But incandescent is different. Firstly, it's internal. It comes from the word incandescere, a Latin word that means to glow white. It describes light that is produced by heat, but specifically the kind of light that comes from a solid state being pushed to its limit. This is the bar of metal that has been superheated until all that comes off it is white light. Or maybe the example we're all a little more familiar with is a light bulb. The old kind that actually had a filament. The wire wasn't on fire, it was being flooded with electricity until it glowed. This internal light shines, it glows, and it produces a different kind of radiance. See, while a flame flickers and dances, incandescence is steady. It's a state of being. Both really are. But incandescence is white-hot intensity, held internally, where a flickering flame is a bright and wonderful thing happening externally. I think there's a powerful double that we have here. And we can choose different words. I'm going to use fiery for the flame example, and then incandescent, but you could use plenty of other words for fiery. But as a storyteller, we can create a powerful understanding in our reader or listener by finding two words that ostensibly do the same job, like incandescent and fiery, and using them to draw a thin line, a powerful distinction. See, when you use two similar words to distinguish between two different things in the same scene, you're providing a roadmap for your reader to understand. You are giving them a shortcut because you are giving them comparison. And doing this with just two words is really powerful. For example, think if you have a villain who is fiery. They are angry, and their anger is described as fiery. That is volatile. It is sparking, and it's likely to burn itself out eventually. But in the same scene, your hero's resolve is incandescent. It's steady. it's internal, and it's unwavering. They're both shining light into the scene. You're using these two words to describe the light of these two characters, but you're creating a powerful nuance. And you're giving us some other clues too. Think if we're thinking of this fiery villain. They are likely to burn out, where the incandescent hero is steady and unwavering. It gives us a clue as to who is going to survive in the end. But it gives us other clues as well. The incandescent glow might be easy to switch off, remove this horse that's heating it, or overload it with too much heat, and boom, it explodes. Where the fiery anger needs to be doused, and the amount of water needed for that is unknown. Or you need to remove all of its fuel. And how much easier is it to get rid of a light bulb than a bonfire? By forcing the reader to see this nuance between these two types of brightness, you make your world feel more textured, and you give us this great characterization, a word that I will go on and on about. You give us a sense of a difference using just one or two words. And you're not just saying they're both intense. You're showing us that one is a wildfire and the other's a star. They're both powerful, powerful lights. But there's a difference. And we start to understand the people behind the words. And I think the real magic of Incandescent specifically is that it describes a state of internal pressure. Think of that incandescent hero. They have a light that is trying to get out of them. It is coming from them and needs to shine out. When you describe a character as incandescent, you're telling the reader that they are functioning at their highest frequency. This isn't just someone who's mildly glowing. This is someone who is vibrantly glowing. They are taking as much energy as they can, and they are spitting that out into the world. This is why Incandescent works so well for Daisy Buchanan in The Great Gatsby. She's like a filament that has been flooded with too much current. She isn't just bright. Fitzgerald describes her as filled with singing compulsion. She's dazzling. But she's also dangerously close to her breaking point. See, incandescence is the proof that you are brilliant, and you don't have to be on fire to be so. It's a steady, white-hot glow of something pushed to its limit. So think about this. In the next draft you're writing, the next version of your story, don't just reach for the flame when you're describing light. Look for the filament. Look for the character who doesn't flicker, but simply radiates light. So intensely bright, it's impossible to forget. You have been listening to Just Another Word podcast with your host, Timothy Vigil. For more information, go to timothyvigil.com.